For a lot of us, Bhagat Singh is possibly just a revolutionary and extremist, and we don't really think of him as more of an intellectual. And I feel, hi Devika, thanks for joining us. And when I was say around 14, and I was greatly influenced by movies like Rang De Basanti, and I thought that was it. Anyway, I read more into him, and I realized he writes beautifully. He's so eloquent. He's so articulate. So I'm going to be reading an essay that he wrote. It was published in his journal a year before he was hanged unto death. It is called "Why I Am an Atheist." It has inspired me greatly. A new question has cropped up. Is it due to vanity that I do not believe in the existence of an omnipotent, omnipresent, and omniscient God? I never imagined that I would ever have to confront such a question. But conversation with some friends has given me a hint that certain of my friends, if I'm not claiming too much and thinking them to be, they are inclined to conclude from the brief contact they've had to me, it was too much on my part to deny the existence of God, and that there was a certain amount of vanity that actuated my disbelief. Well, the problem is a serious one. I do not boast to be quite above these human traits. I am a man, nothing more. None can claim to be more. I also have this weakness in me. Vanity does form a part of my nature. Amongst my comrades, I was called an autocrat. Even my friend Mr. B.K. Dutt sometimes called me so. Some friends do complain, and very seriously too, that I involuntarily thrust my opinions upon others and get my proposals accepted. That is true, up to a certain extent, I do not deny. I deny the very existence of that Almighty Supreme Being. Why I deny it shall be dealt with later on. Here I want to clear one thing, that it is not vanity that has actuated me to adopt the doctrines of atheism. I am neither a rival, nor an incarnation, nor the Supreme Being himself. One point is decided, that it is not vanity that has led me to this mode of thinking. Let me examine the facts to disprove this allegation. According to these friends of mine, I have grown vain. Glorious, perhaps due to the undue popularity gained during the trials, both the Delhi bomb and Lahore conspiracy cases. Well, let us see if their premises are correct. My atheism is not of recent origin. I'd stopped believing in God when I was an obscure young man, of whose existence my above-mentioned friends were not even aware. At least a college student cannot cherish any sort of undue pride which may lead him to atheism. Though a favorite with some professors and disliked by certain others, I was never an industrious or a studious boy. I could not get any chance of indulging in such feelings as vanity. I was rather a boy with a very shy nature, who had certain pessimistic dispositions about the future career. As regards the origin of God, my own idea is that having realized the limitations of man, his weaknesses and shortcomings have been taken into consideration, God was brought into imaginary existence to encourage man to face boldly all the trying circumstances, to meet all dangers manfully, and to check and restrain his outbursts in prosperity and affluence. God, both with his private laws and parental generosity, was imagined and painted in greater details. He was to serve as a deterrent factor when his fury and private laws were discussed, so that man may not become a danger to society. He was to serve as a father, mother, sister and brother, friend and helpers when his parental qualifications were to be explained, so that when man may be in great distress, being betrayed and deserted by all friends, he may find consolation in the idea that never true friend was still there to help him, to support him, and that he was almighty and could do anything. Really, that was useful to the society in the primitive age. The idea of God is helpful to a man in distress. The essay goes on, but I'm going to read just the ending because I think that's equally as profound. Let us see how I carry on. One friend asked me to pray. When informed of my atheism, he said, "During your last days you will begin to believe." I said, "No, dear sir, it shall not be. I will think that to be an act of degradation and demoralization on my part. For selfish motives, I am not going to pray." Readers and friends, is this vanity? If it is, I stand for it. Thank you.